What's happening, folks? I get asked a lot who my favorite hero is in Overwatch, and after much consideration, I decided... well, I couldn't decide before because I just simply wasn't sure at the time, and from week to week I would go through phases, and one week I would really enjoy playing this character, the next week it would be another, and then another, and I could never settle on one in particular, but the one hero who has consistently been fun for me, and I could never go a single night of playing Overwatch without picking him a few times, and it's Roadhog. My time played is certainly a testament to that. I by far get the most hours on him, but I also feel he's my strongest character and the one that I'm best with. So, for the purposes of playing Overwatch, I love Roadhog. However, with Overwatch there are two sides to it for me personally. There's the playing, and then there's the wanting to make videos about it, right? And I have a slight dilemma regarding that. If you've been following my channel the last few months, you know I've been making a few Overwatch videos. Some of my favorite videos I've ever made. I'm super happy with them. But it's a very one-dimensional plan I have. I have one video per character I plan on making, but once I've made 21 videos, one for each hero, what am I gonna do? I've not been sure. And I record every game I play, right? But if I'm playing Roadhog every night, but I've already made the Roadhog video that I want, then I'm deciding, hey, I don't need you, I'm gonna delete you, and I'm just discarding a ton of footage, and some of it is really good. A shame to throw it away, but only because I've not known what the heck to do with it. And I've been sitting on an idea. The videos that I've made so far, I've been really hesitant to label them or think of them as guides, because they're not exactly presented like a traditional guide would be, right? And that's, I mean, yeah, I talk numbers and stats, and I give advice in some small ways on how to play the character. But then, that's only half the video, whereas the other half is a head case describing how he enjoys murdering these people. Yeah, not typical of a guide, right? But I must confess it's my favorite part. As a result, the predominantly guide section of it takes a hit in the technical area because going too deep down the technical side of it hits the narrative part a little too much for my liking, and what happens is the gameplay advice ends up being not that advanced, and perhaps even quite minimal. So let's take, for example, the Roadhog video I made a couple months ago, right back in April. Now that video, I love it. It's exactly what I want it to be, and I wouldn't change a thing. But there's so much stuff that could be in a Roadhog guide that isn't in that video. For example, I don't at all mention any animation cancelling. I don't go into any detailed matchups and how to win versus, specific difficult fights. I don't talk about how you beat another Roadhog one-on-one. And you could hear people say, it's very simply, the Roadhog who hooks second wins. Right, first of all, not everyone has even heard that. Secondly, the people who have heard that may try that and be like, okay, I'll throw my hook second, after he hooks me, and wait, he still beat me. I don't understand. When the answer is that there's more to it than just that, there's a very detailed process you go through. But what I'm realizing is that I can answer these questions. I have the means to do so, and I've been deleting all the footage that speaks it. That's the idea. In addition to these, for lack of a better word, guides that I've been making so far, I think I want to try making an advanced guide that goes into these matchup details and what certain combos you should be looking to enforce against certain enemies that you run into, right? Because while when learning Roadhog, it's a good starter mindset to get used to hook, shoot, melee, right? It's good, it's quite effective. You'll have a fine game if you can get used to hook, shoot, melee and, land it quite consistently. However, hook, shoot, melee is not the only combo, it's certainly not the only way of fighting, and you'll need to learn and know other methods to beat harder matchups. Actually, I'm just going to let this bit play out here. And after that pin, that Reinhardt needed to hit me twice with his hammer to kill me. That's it. And because he stunned me, he had the slight initiative, which means I have almost no time and no chance. And he had about 400 health, still had armor on. And I won because I know this nice little trick that might have worked, and it did, that a lot of you who don't play much Roadhog or are still learning him, understandably wouldn't know. The standard hook, shoot, melee combo would never have worked there. I'd be dead. The very first kill in this video is on a Reaper, and Reaper's kind of a tough matchup. And it's not very often that a hook, shoot, melee would beat Reaper. Instead, I go with a different combo, and I killed him extremely cleanly. And here, I've got to do my tank duty, alright? Reaper obviously looking for a die. What to eat our Mercy, but you know what? I like our Mercy, and I can peel. I'm a peel you off, like a plaster who served his time. And I'm gonna throw you in the bin afterwards. I'll try and explain why certain hooks don't go where you think they will, and they end up falling off to the side or even behind you somehow, as if Genji wasn't hard enough to kill already. Speaking of which, annoying matchups like Genji and Tracer, who make life difficult for you, and even with some practice and know-how, will still give you a hard time. As you can see, in the heat of this battle, this Genji deceives me. But you know what? Fuck you, Genji. I've learned a lot about hooking Tracers and Genjis, and I think that's one of a lot of subjects I feel like I can share some knowledge on, in the form of an advanced guide. Could be a while before we even see such a thing, because I have to imagine there's a lot of footage I'd like to gather to have a complete video for that. But it's an idea, and I need those, so I'm glad I've got one. Also happy that anytime I do still want to play Roadhog, I won't end up just auto-deleting the footage, like this game. Would have been a shame to throw that away. Anyway, I'm glad we could have this chat, as I simply wanted to talk through these things out loud so I could hear it back and really consider them from a wider perspective. And I'd like to thank you for making it this far. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.